So Everton versus Arsenal. 2-1 to Everton. I don't know why any Arsenal fan will be surprised with what we saw today. I think if anything, we actually saved today. It could have been 5-1, it could have been 4-1. We were flat out timid and toothless in the first half. And I don't want to go on a rant because I've just tried to like calm myself down. It's been a couple of hours after the game now, so I've tried to take my time to try and calm myself down. Um, where do I even start from with this team? Back in the summer when we had the transfer window, I kept on hammering that there was a need for us to buy players with top mentality. We needed to buy leaders. We needed to buy characters. Also, I said I was gonna on the back of the horrific season we had last season, COVID and all that. I made so many excuses for this team. I made so many excuses for Mikel Arteta. Of course, I wanted him to do well as well. There's a bit of a bias on my side as well because I just like him as a person. As a person, I like the way he carries himself. I like the way he portrays the club. I like the way he is passionate, but it doesn't excuse the fact that he's out of his depth. And I really wanted him to do well. I was hoping that that experience that he's actually got from serving under Pep was going to rub off on these players at some point, and that quality was going to show, which was going to be evident in the Arsenal team as well, or transfer to the Arsenal team as well. But unfortunately, it's come to a point whereby even I, that tries to be the most positive person and the pro, people have called me pro Arteta, deluded, which I can understand why, because I try to see the bigger picture. But the reality is that this is 2.5 years, almost 2.5 years now that he's been on the job. And yeah, I think I've seen enough from this team. I've seen enough from Arteta, and something's got to give, unfortunately. That's not to say that they're going to sack him tomorrow, and that's not to say that this team is not capable of putting another 4, 5 games unbeaten together. But I know myself. I know that regardless of if that happens or not, and we there's a disconnect somewhere, and the combination of Mikel Arteta and this current squad, as it stands, is always going to end up disastrous for Arsenal. I for one was one of the people that called for Mikel Arteta even like almost like 6 months before he got appointed. I don't know what came over me, but I wanted either Brendan Rodgers and Mikel Arteta at the time. Now he's got the job, and it's proven himself to me that as much as he's done quite a few good things, I like the progression of the team in terms of you know the cohesive, the team spirit and stuff like that. But again, these are things that I can actually criticize him for as well because the mentality of the team is not. It leaves a bitter taste sometimes. It's almost like they're too friendly, they're too nice to each other. I don't see that passion, I don't see that energy, I don't see that demand, I don't see that that push and that aggressiveness in the team. So as much as there's a good energy within the club, you have to take the good and the bad. And it feels like everything is just so rosy and players are just friends to each other. They just play and they're just friends. I don't see warriors. I don't see people that actually demand, puts their colleagues under pressure. I don't see that competitive edge. I don't see that nastiness. I don't see that arrogance. I don't see that pride and passion. When the perks are down, when the chips are down, people that will actually take the game by the scruff of the neck and want to like defend the honor of the club. I don't see that. I see everybody ducking. I see everybody hiding when it matters most. And this is the Arsenal that none of us is used to. We're not used to that. The Invincibles, as great as they were, not even the Invincibles. Even the Invincibles is like the bar is too high. I think we set it too high when we try and set our expectations based on the Invincibles. Let's even go as far back as the recent, you know, best Arsenal teams that we've had. When we had Van Persie, when we had Nasri, when we had Ashavi, when we had Rosicky, when we had, you know, even some players that were not that good. Ramsey, people that at that time we were still complaining that they weren't good enough because the benchmark was the Invincibles. You know, you know, there was this passion, there was this aura, there was this energy about the club. The way they played, people wanted to play to express themselves because that's what Arsenal Football Club was always all about. We play expressive football, expansive football. Football that even when we lost, we just knew that okay, at least we played well today. There was something that we could always relate to. And Arteta being an ex-Arsenal man that supposedly has the DNA of the club, I can't see how he's transmitting that through these players. I can't see that, and that's for me. It's a non-negotiable, as he always says. It's that for me, it's non-negotiable as an Arsenal fan to see my club play the way we've been playing. Recently we put on a run of 10 games, and people were like, "Oh yeah, this." I said, "Listen, regardless of what it looks like, this team for me is still not good enough." He's made some good signings as well, which I can put down as a positive. Is what else has he done again? He's shipped out the old players. I can see what he's doing, but unfortunately, I think there's a disconnect. I think there's an overcoaching. I think he lacks. He doesn't allow the players to play with freedom, which is something that I hate to see in my club. I also feel like his substitutions are just a bit weird. I think it gets in his own head. I think his ego, or I don't know. I don't know. He tends to lose the trust of the players as well. I guess because I don't understand how some of the decisions he's made in the last few games, you know, they're a bit very funny. Like I don't understand. I think he spites his nose or he spites his face to, you know what I'm trying to say. So I just don't get it. I don't get it. You can't have you're not playing the team to the best of their ability. You have young players. You decided to go with this policy of young players, and you're not even using them as you should use them. You haven't surrounded them with quality players. The senior players, for some reason, they decided to pack their bags in. They're not even doing anything to inspire these players. It's almost like the other way around. Like these young players, if they don't perform, the young people, the whole players can't even do nothing. And for me, that's just not acceptable. The level of mediocrity, the mentality, the lack of leadership, the lack of midfield, the lack of creativity, the lack of ballers. Arsenal Football Club has always been a team of ballers. Even when we lost games, when we had the Debayors, we played Girouds, Danielson. These are players that back in the day we weren't even satisfied. You know, these are we had Alexis Sanchez. We don't have any star quality. Somebody that can actually take the game by the scruff of it and say, "Listen, give me the ball, and I'll create some magic." We have players now that it's almost like everything is being dictated to them. It's almost like they have a configuration in their brains from the training sessions, and when whatever they've planned to do in the training sessions doesn't materialize on the pitch, it doesn't materialize exactly as they've seen it in training. They don't have a clue. They can't even bring something out of the bag. I don't see players taking. I don't see the rondos. I don't see the one-on-ones that you tend to show us in the stupid YouTube cams that you send us. You post every other day or every other week. I don't see that in games. Now I see players who are supposed to be quality players. They can't even put 10-year passes together. The ball doesn't stick. This is not Arsenal. We used to play like it was almost like an orchestra when Arsenal played. You get what I'm saying? We put like five, six, seven passes together before you know we're in front of the goal. We have an attempt upon attempt. We take control of the ball again. We don't have that. Like it's almost like the boys are scared, and I don't understand where again this kind of players from. I mean, having served under Pepe Guardiola, having seen quality players, and I get it. We don't have the money to buy those kind of players, but at the end of the day, if you're a coach, you should be able to identify players that can actually play a certain way that you want to play. And if you're not even going to give us that same template that we've always been used to, whatever template you are bringing in, we don't even see it. So you are the ones deciding to buy these players because you believe that they can play according to what you want to do. And we can't even see where we're going with it. So for me, it's peak. And I'm not gonna wait till the same stretch of games, the same issue we had last season, where in December, whereby from October to December we didn't even win. We didn't win two games. We went on that crazy bad run. I'm not waiting for that to happen because it's just around the corner. On Sat on well, not on Saturday, on Thursday when we played United, I went to see the game. And prior to the game, I saw Robbie AFTV, or we're having a conversation, and he was saying something along the lines of, if Arsenal could, that was before the game, and I wish it was recorded by the way, but they hadn't even set the cameras on it. I think we were all running late for the game at the time, and he was saying something along the lines of, if we beat United, that that means we're going to get top four. And I objected straight away, and I told him, I said, I don't understand where he got that thought process from. I don't understand how Arsenal fans have these kind of expectations. Like, we can't even match expectations based on what we see in front of us. These players, I'm sorry, I know that they have potentials, but unfortunately, for where we want to be, we don't need potentials. We need players that can actually do it now. We need players that can actually stand up to the week in, week out, and they can give us minimum of 7/10 performances. We see our players that are giving us 4/10, 5/10, 6/10. When we are so generous to them, we say we give them a 7. We need 8, 9 performances every week. That's what Arsenal Football Club is all about. I can't identify with this club at the moment. I'm sorry. And unfortunately, even if you go on another 3, 4 game run, we always know that there's something. This is going to be around. This is just around the corner again. This is going to happen again, and we can't. I can't afford to be. We can't afford to live like that. We can't afford to be like that. We need to get our confidence. We need to get our swag. We need to get our the passion, the desire to just want to support the team. We all want to be positive. We all want to support the team, but unfortunately, you're not giving us a lot to desire. I don't want my team to keep playing with the handbrakes on. I don't want to be scared when we are 2-0 up, when we are 1-0 up, or always scared. It's ridiculous. So the only times I've actually bet, engaged in betting, and I've always put emotions over objectivity. I always put Arsenal in my betting accumulator. Arsenal has always been the team that let me down. My own team lets me down. And it's come to the point now where I'm so realistic now that when I'm putting an accumulator, I always go for the other team to win, or I go for Arsenal to win or draw. This is my team. I don't even have trust in my team anymore. Come on, guys. I don't know. If there are any Arsenal fans out there, just let me know what you think about this. I think right about now, this team, and I hate to say it because, like I said, I've always been a pro Arteta, but I feel like at this point, Arteta, this job is too big for him. We need a different voice in the dressing room. I feel like the players are good. They are good, but they are not as good as people make them. Because at the end of the day, big players, good players, sometimes they should be able to take the game in their own hands and build the manager house. Sometimes they should be able to control the game. They should be able to, read the game as well. You don't have to wait for the manager to make decisions for you all the time. That's what big players do. But I feel like, again, yeah, at the time I have to leave, but then I still don't think, sacking Arteta is going to resolve the issue. I feel like something needs to give. We need to stop demanding so much from the players that have proven time and time again that they're not good enough for the level that we want to be. And that includes the Sakas, the Smith Rose, the way that we overhype these players, the way that we put so much expectation on kids that should still be learning sitting on the bench. Look at this guy from what's it called? This amazing boy in City, Phil Foden. I know for how long City fans were clamoring for him to get into the team, and Guardiola literally sat him on the bench. We saw him in glimpses. He played him in the FA Cup and the League Cup, and we saw that this guy is very good. But he still sat down. He was watching the likes of David Silva. He was watching the likes of, you know what I'm trying to say anyway. And now it's fully mature. Now we have Saka, we have Smith. We're actually putting all the weight of the club on these young kids that should literally be sat on the bench and learning for another maybe 12, 18 months and watching experienced players. We don't have that. We don't have players that have the character, the personality, the arrogance to say, "Well, okay, throw it at us. Don't worry, whatever it is, we're going to stand toe to toe with you. We're going to control the games ourselves without the manager telling us what to do." A great manager, or a good manager, or a good team, or a cohesive team that involves a good manager and players, you don't necessarily have to be standing on the sideline screaming at 75th minute and screaming all the time. You don't have to be doing that. You don't have to be panicking all the time. And it feels like that's what we do in this club. That's what we've been doing for the last sort of two, even during the time of Emery. So I feel like we need an experienced manager that the players can listen to. They will understand what he wants from them, and they have the ability as well to be able to execute those things. And that's why I feel like there's a disconnect. Is either Arteta is overcoaching them and they don't understand it and they're scared to express themselves, or they themselves are just not good enough to execute what the manager is saying. Either way, something has to give. And unfortunately, in the history of football, in the recent history of football, until that changes, until when you're able to sack players, the manager always has to give way. So this is the end of my rant. Thank you so much for listening. Arsenal Football Club, get your shit together, man. I'm so tired. I'm really, really tired. Thank you.